Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk Thursday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints leave the confines of the Superdome and they go a state or two next door to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Before I get into the point spread, some betting trends, and even some favorite DFS plays for this evening, let's talk about Team Riser Fall briefly. The NBA is off and running, a few games into the season. Hockey, same thing. Got a handful of games under our belt. The baseball playoffs are rolling. The ALCS, NLD, all those championship series are set, and hey, we're on the cusp of week 7 of the NFL. When we look at the sports as a whole, if you're a DGen or a DFS guy or girl like me, you're going to want to get in on some helpful tips, some tools, some tricks, and it's all can be found here at Team Riser Fall. When you get there, use promo code Beastie. You'll get $10 off your first month of premium services, and that lends itself to a ton of different tools. The study hub for every sport. We have tabs now for pivot game, guys you want to pivot from, stacks, rankings, projections, and don't forget the Discord is free, and there are some premium options leading up to every lock of every sport. There's always someone in there, a coach or somebody in there chatting and talking and getting you through it. So let's talk about football, shall we? As I said, the Saints go to Arizona. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. tonight Eastern, and when we go from this one over under, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I got to go back to my bottom of the barrel notes because I write everything down, all point spreads and everything, when they first come out, Sunday night, even Monday morning, and I like to watch certain games and see how the over under, how that flows throughout the week. It's like water. And when we look at this one, it opened at 45. The over under opened at 45, and it still stands firm right there. As a whole, I'll wait to the end to give you my over under prediction and all that. So let's just get right to it. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. And I noticed yesterday, right, or even this morning, as I'm going through my notes, having coffee, double checking what I did yesterday. I always do that. I get some DFS notes together. I sleep on it, wake up, and I kind of look at what I did the day before. And if I'm a fool, I rip it up and we start over. Or like these notes tonight, there's no ripping up because they're all top heavy. It's all top front end loaded. And we don't even know to this point who the New Orleans Saints quarterback is going to be. Is it Dalton? Is it Winston? Both have had their ups and downs, their trials and tribulations. Heck, we could see Taysom Hill at quarterback today. But regardless, let's talk about both guys briefly. I believe Andy Dalton will get the start tonight. Arizona's 23rd overall against opposing quarterbacks. Dalton, 14 grand on FanDuel, 9.4 on DK, and he's on Yahoo's $21. A little bit pricey on Yahoo. The minimum price is $10, and you add another 11. Andy Dalton, 19-20 completions, just over 200 passing yards, 2-3 carries, about another 10 yards there. There's not much to like, but I know I don't want to sound contradictive, so I'll get it out of the way right now. There are several New Orleans Saints passing options, receivers that I really like, kind of like ALVIN KAMARA, running back who can do both here, but I think we can get away with fading New Orleans quarterbacks here because in a way, what if it's a pitch? Something weird's going to happen where, let's say Chris Olave, they flip the ball to him and he goes 40, 50 yards for a touchdown, and it would be something in the stat sheet where it's recorded as a rushing play, something weird like that. And I don't know, making it up as I go. That's the beauty of these DFS videos. These DFS videos are just one big daydream from me, and I'm so happy that you all like them. Let's talk about Kyler Murray. Saints are 21st overall against opposing quarterbacks here. Kyler Murray, $17,000 on FanDuel, 11.2 on DK, and on Yahoo he's $35. We know what we're gonna get with Kyler, and I don't know when and how I started saying that so much. We know what we're gonna get, but I guess that's kind of an easy, simple transition to say, 22, 23 completions, 250 yards. You love to see that. 7-8 carries. We know he's going to take off and put the ball out like that to get that first down, that extra yardage or two. So about 7 or 8 carries for another 45 to 50 yards. As we move on, we're going to get through this thing. We're going to get through this sucker. The last few videos been like 16, 20 minutes. I want to keep it a tight 8 to 10. And that's it. Let's talk about the running backs here. It's ALVIN, it's Mark Ingram, and even Ingram the second has a big red questionable tag next to his name. So we'll hang with ALVIN. NO at Arizona. Arizona right now 11th overall against opposing running backs, which is admirable, right? ALVIN, 15 grand on FanDuel, 10.6 on DK, and $27 on Yahoo. But you're going to get what you pay for when you use ALVIN. Kind of a slow start to the season in a way. Didn't play a game or two. That London game, he was surprised and active active, and it sent social media on fire. If you can't wake up and set your lines, you're a bum. You shouldn't even be playing fantasy football. Hey, I got a tip for everybody. Seasonal, redraft, anything, you can avoid all that, the rat race, and just play DFS. Let's hang, watch the video, and we'll play DFS, and it doesn't matter because you can check in right before lock. ALVIN KAMARA, 16, 17 carries, 70 to 75 yards, another 4 to 5 receptions for about 40 or 50 yards. So yes, I think ALVIN KAMARA sees well over 100 total all-purpose yards this evening. But again, the rub here is, will this guy find the end zone? And to be sure, to be fair with you, I think he does. Once, maybe even twice. Is that a prediction? Is it a Heyman spoiler? I don't know. Let's just give AK41 one touchdown, and we can all end it there. As we go down the list, James Conner, Eno Benjamin, the young kid Keontae Ingram. When you look at Conner, he hasn't played in a few weeks. He's got some hurt ribs, something lower body, soft tissue stuff, per usual. But I do think Eno gets to start. Eno's got a questionable tag as well, but he is the safest bet in this backfield given the short week, right? You play it on Sunday or Monday, whatever, and you go around. So give me Eno Benjamin in this one. The Saints, 8th overall against opposing running backs. Eno, 11 grand on FanDuel, 8-2 on DK, and just a measly 16 bucks on Yahoo. 16, 17 carries. Yeah, workhorse. Just pound that sucker. About 70 to 75 yards, and 2 to 3 receptions for an additional 20 to 25 yards. So we're playing with, if you're going to play any like sportsbook stuff, player props, over-unders, prize picks, whatever you're into, it's so close, this game, with the over-under total points, and it's so close with Eno over-under 100 all-purpose yards. I think we're going to come within a few points, and or within a few yards, and it could go either way. Margin of error, 102 total or 98. So we're going to have to find that balance there. When we go down to the wide receivers, there's a couple things that are, front and center. DeAndre Hopkins finally back after his PED suspension, or the idea that Chris Olave, the young rookie, has just been a target hog, a target monster. Arizona right now, 6th overall against opposing wide receivers. Arizona's, as long as far back as I can remember, they've always been good in their secondary. They've always had a couple studs, that play safety. Budda Baker now, it used to be Patrick Peterson, lockdown corner, and they shifted him back. He's no longer in Arizona, but hey, they still get it together in the secondary, in the back seven. Chris Olave, 11 grand on FanDuel, 7-4 on DK, and $21 on Yahoo. When you look at this cast of characters for the Saints wide receivers, Olave, Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, Rashid Shaheed, and it's spelled, they're both Rashid, Rashid, and then the last name Shaheed, Saheed. So Rashid, Shaheed. And so what are we going to do? It's Chris Olave, right? 8-9 targets, 6-7 receptions, 75 yards or so. And I think he finds the end zone as well. I try not to do this because I'm not running for office. And as we go down, like I said, Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, there's something that's calling me to the combo of Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway. Because when you look at both of these, Traquan is 8 grand on FanDuel, 6-2 on DK, 12 bucks on Yahoo. And Callaway is 7 grand on FanDuel, 4-8 on DK, and only 11 bucks on Yahoo. I have Traquan for 4 targets, 2-3 receptions, 30-35 yards, but that's kind of like a baseline for him. Same thing with Callaway, 5 or 6 targets, 3 or 4 receptions, and 40 yards there. I mentioned it last night. I had this, it wasn't cryptic, it was just a tweet where little things that I've noticed when I did my notes last night, and here we are in the morning. As I said, I went over them again, slept on them, and here we are. I can't put aside from Olave, I can't put my finger on what the heck's going to go on in that New Orleans Saints wide receiver room. And if we rewind it back, I'm not going to pull a Jim Carrey where I go, but we're going to fade any New Orleans quarterbacks. So Chris, how can you like 2 guys that are kind of iffy? That they're beyond the field. They're going to see, as you said, Chris, 3 or 4 targets, 3 or 4 things like that here. I just can't put my finger on it. And as of late, the NFL has been completely bonkers, wacky. So who's to say that we can't start 3 New Orleans wide receivers, fade their quarterback, and then punch in, even Taysom Hill? Maybe he throws a pass to Callaway or Traquan Smith. There's something weird is going to happen per usual. Let's talk about the Arizona wide receivers. We'll tie this thing up in a bow, and we'll get the heck out of here. Finally, DeAndre Hopkins is back. New Orleans Saints, not good. 26th overall against opposing wide receivers. D-Hop, 12-5 on FanDuel, 10-2 on DK, and on Yahoo, he's $26. Hopkins, 8-9 targets, 5-6 receptions, 65 to 70 yards. We know that everybody's excited for D-Hop. The question today from morning till night will be, do I play him in my seasonal formats? I traded for him during his suspension. I got him dirt cheap. Absolutely play Hopkins, but not in a flex spot. It's Thursday night. Put him in one of your wide receiver spots, and we'll move on. As we go down, Rondale Moore, A.J. Green, Greg Dortch. I think that thing is done with Dortch. It was nice while it lasted. We thank you for all your DFS, days or years, months, weeks for us or with us, sir. But it is all done and over with. Rondale Moore, $9,000 on FanDuel, 5-8 on DK, $14 on Yahoo. I have Rondale Moore, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 50, maybe 60 yards. And yes, you're probably thinking right now, you're very overly ambitious, not bullish, but you're overly ambitious with your projections most every single game slate. Well, yeah, why wouldn't we be? That's the fun of it here. When we look at the tight ends, there's 2 guys in town, and you probably just said them out loud. Yes, Taysom Hill, Zach Ertz. Which way are we going to go? When you look at Hill, $10,500 on FanDuel, 7-2 on DK, and only $21 on Yahoo. Taysom Hill is a gadget guy, right? And if he doesn't find the end zone on FanDuel, what's the point? All the touchdown equity that we hear folks talk about. Taysom Hill on FanDuel is a little bit too much for my liking at 10-5, but when we look at the DVP matchup, it is unbelievably sweet. Arizona's 31st overall against opposing tight ends. So again, as I said, I could see a case where Taysom Hill throws a couple passes, takes about 5 or 6 carries, catches a ball or 2, throwing them, running, just doing everything that he can. So Taysom Hill, to me, on DK at least, is an interesting prospect. On FanDuel, as I said, I can't pull the trigger with him being so high, but if you're going to multi-enter GPPs, then we got to account for Taysom Hill here. Zach Ertz, let's go from there at New Orleans, 2nd overall against opposing tight ends here, but we know with Zach Ertz, $10,000 even on FanDuel. How is Taysom Hill 5,000 more bucks on FanDuel than Zach Ertz? That's wild. Zach Ertz, $7,000 on FanDuel, or excuse me, 10 on FanDuel. Geez, oh Pete's. DK, he's $7,000. That's what I was getting at. And on Yahoo, he's $16. Ertz, 8-9 targets, 5-6 receptions, 65 to 70 yards. I have a feeling it's going to be the Zach Ertz, DeAndre Hopkins, Eno Benjamin show. Nothing profound, nothing earth-shattering. You're a dummy, Chris. We all saw that coming. Okay, great. When we look at the kickers, of all the kickers, probably Will Lutz, because he's traveling. It is still, a dome, or they're playing inside. So to me, Will Lutz, based on the price tag, $4,000 on FanDuel, give me him 3-4 extra points, 2-for-2 field goals, something like that. And let me give you some recent betting trends and a final score, and we'll get the heck out of here. There's a few things that I noticed. I have about 4 or 5 of them. New Orleans, 38-16, their last 54 games on the road. That's pretty cool. Arizona, 1-7 against the spread, their last 8 games at home. Last 8 games, they've covered one time out of their last 8 games when they're at home. The over is 5-2, New Orleans' last 7 games overall, and the under 5-0 in Arizona's last 5 overall, and the Saints 5-2 the last 7 times these two teams have met. So give me the New Orleans Saints to win this one, 24-20, 24-21, something along those lines. The Saints will win, and it looks like they'll cover because they're getting a point or 2. So right now, let's bet on New Orleans to win this thing at plus money. Let's stack up, as I said, KAMARA, Chris Olave, Hopkins, even a little bit of Taysom Hill, and let's run it back with the weird Taysom Hill captain MVP spot and the idea that Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway, that little 3-headed monster, I don't know what the heck is going to happen, but if it does, it'll be special. If nothing happens, you'll forget about this. So hey, that's why I love these videos. Before I split, make sure you get to the website, use promo code BEASTIE at Team Riser Fall to get you $10 off, and we'll see you soon. I'll see you back the same time on Saturday or Sunday, whenever we cross paths. Be good, be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.